Give me the next 10 minutes and I'll get you started on any task if you have ADHD. In 2021, I was a broke startup founder. Now I run two successful businesses that are generating over 80K in annual revenue. Last year, we closed my first startup at 120K. It's been 4 years since I started my first startup. In this video, I will give you real world advice that I wish somebody had given me when I was just starting out. Okay, so number one, know that neurotypical advice won't work for you. When you have ADHD as a founder, general pieces of advice like just eat the frog, do more, push yourself a little bit more harder doesn't work for you. It doesn't work like that. You're trying to move a car without gas. How are you going to do that? Instead, you're actually trying to push the car. You might be able to move a few inches, but at the end of the day, you will be exhausted as hell and you will hate that journey. So once you understand that neurotypical advice won't work for you, we move to the second part. That is killing the enemy of ADHD. Your biggest enemy as someone with ADHD is a traditional to-do list. That list is not a plan. It's guilt piling up like files in your old office. It's dusty and it's messy as hell. Every day you wake up energetic and cool, and then you see 10 empty check boxes, you freeze. For a neurotypical, that's not the case. Their brain sees this as opportunities. Instead, our brain, or the people who has ADHD, sees them as guilt, as debt. And at the end of the day, when you cannot clear that debt, you freeze, you procrastinate, you dissociate, and you scroll on TikTok for endless, like 3 or 4 hours straight, and then you curse that I couldn't complete a single task today. Now, what you're doing essentially is you are hiding from that list that you created last night. Now, you don't have to do that. How do I know this? Is because I've been there and I came out by fixing my engine. Now, how do we fix the engine? That's where the dopamine menu comes in. That's the third part. Okay, so what is a dopamine menu? When I started using this menu, it was really confusing at first. But when I got a hang of it, everything became clearer. Now, I put this so easy and made this a little bit more easier for you to understand, like as simple as possible, because I don't want you to deal with the things that I had to deal with when I was trying out this menu. So it's really simple. How do you use it? It's a menu like a restaurant menu. A restaurant that gives you like a 3-course meal. What do you do when you have a menu in your hand of a great fine dining restaurant? You order appetizers, because I do it all the time. I do like appetizers. And then I go to the main course and then I do my desserts. So there's a rule of thumb. You cannot skip the main course and just have appetizers and dinner and dessert. That's common sense, I guess. Now, what are appetizers? Think of these as like you're sparking the plugs and you're putting the key in the ignition and you're trying to start the engine. So for me, my appetizers are do 12 push-ups, go for a short walk, like 2 or 3 minutes, maybe listen to my favorite music while I'm at it. And now that gives me the blood rush to get started. Now these work for me. So you have to find your own appetizers. I mean, you can try my appetizers, my version of appetizers, but it might not work for you. So all you need to understand is that you have to do something that you can do in just 2 to 5 minutes. And that something has to give you that blood rush. Now that blood rush is actually the fuel, the dopamine that you need for the main course. Now the main course is actually a 90-minute deep working session. Put your phone on silent, put it in the next room, no notification, close all tabs, and do the work that moves your business today. That either makes you money or either gives you something productive in return. So my calculation is, if you didn't make money today, or you didn't move the needle by doing something productive today for your business, you have wasted the day. Now you go back to the appetizers, you start again with the appetizers, and then you come back to the deep work session. Now comes the dessert. Now, this is the danger zone. The danger zone here is you scrolling through TikTok for hours and hours and hours. You took the appetizers, but you still went on a research rabbit hole. So this is a typical case of appetizers and dessert. And now there is one rule you have to follow if you want to keep using this dopamine menu, and that is no dessert before dinner. You have to do the appetizers first, then dinner, then the dessert, because that is the way you hack your dopamine loop. That's you give reward to your brain at the end of the hardship that it had to go through during that 90-minute window of that deep work. Now let's move to the fourth one. How do you track your work? Because you cannot make a to-do list. That won't work for you. What do you do instead? You make an empty to-do list. So how do you work with that? How do you make the empty to-do list? Is that instead of writing down the whole list of to-dos in the day, you write down the things that you have completed. Like you have to write down the most important tasks that must move your business, of course. Then you write down wins. How do you do that? That's relatively simple. Remember that email that you're planning to write for a whole week? Write that email and write it down in the empty to-do list. And remember that bug that's been bugging your team, your users on your app? Fix that and write it down. Now your brain sees a list of wins instead of staring at a list of guilt. Isn't that awesome? You've just hacked your feedback loop and you stop staring at an empty list or like multiple checkboxes that you haven't done yet. Seeing that list will give you fuel for your next task. Now you have fixed the engine, you have the fuel, and you know how to track your progress. Now comes how to unlock momentum to do one task after another. You get stuck on one task. Now, how do you overcome that? You have everything in place, but you still can't unlock momentum to get the other task started. How do you fix that? This is where the 2-minute activation rule comes in play. Now, I do it all the time when I don't want to work, of course. I break down my tasks to micro level steps. Like, for example, if I want to write an email to one of my clients, what do? I open up Outlook. I click on the write an email button. I write down one sentence. And after that, I think of myself. My brain thinks, might as well just finish the whole damn thing, right? So we finish it and we done it. We sent it, right? So the goal here is not to finish the task, but the goal here is to actually get that dopamine rush that you get in like 2 minutes, right? So now I didn't know that I had ADHD, but something always felt off. I couldn't focus. I couldn't do work more than 10 minutes. Of course, that is the lack of focus. And I was procrastinating. I was doom scrolling. I was spending hours and hours on rabbit hole research, refining my website. And that's the reason why I didn't make revenue for the whole 2 years of my startup. And in 2021 and 2022, we were literally at zero revenue. My brain kept chasing cheap dopamine, like TikTok, Reels, maybe YouTube Shorts, LinkedIn notifications, LinkedIn comments and interactions. That didn't move the needle. That just made it worse. It felt great at the time, but it was making everything worse. So when somebody tells you, somebody that is a neurotypical advisor gives you an advice that you need more discipline or you're broken, that's not the case. You do not need more discipline, nor are you broken. You just need a system that works with your brain than against it. Now I've documented this entire protocol into a Google document. It has the ADHD dopamine menu. It has the anti-to-do list. All you need to do is click the link in the description. It's completely free for you to grab. Now, if you want to install the system in your business or life, I run small cohort for founders and fellow ADHDers. Now, we install this system live for you according to your requirements. Now, if you want to join that cohort, it's pretty simple. Start with that document first and see if it works. Until then, I will see you in the next one. Cheers.